Starting. Alright, so we have discussed about GSOC and this thing. I'm closing those tabs, and after this we are going to discuss the next part of Python programming language. So as the Google Summer of Code is the big thing for we and you also, so I'm going to have the next session with respect to GSOC projects. Yesterday we have discussed about a dead code analysis, right? And I hope maybe you have tried the same thing at your own level, but if you are not trying, then probably you are missing very much things. Now, because the projects I'm talking about today or maybe tomorrow, so all these projects are very similar and common also. One is like email verification, the second one is network design, so network monitoring tool. Network monitoring. And third project is like cryptography, model analysis. Alright, so these are three projects, and we are going to start from this one. But before this, we need the basic knowledge of networking and email services so that we can design our own product, a kind of product where you can do this, this or this. So it will be like very much interesting for you. The next part will be Python GUI programming, because with the help of graphical interface we will design number of things by using GUI programming. So make sure that you are attending this session is very serious mode, because alright, so Python for these projects. Before starting, we need to discuss about Python library, module and function, right? So as you already have the good background in your predefined Python analysis, so function is the one where we can write number of code and repeat everything by the name of a single name. That means we are writing number of line of code here and calling them in a single product name. That's how you can use the function in any programming language. Now with respect to networking, because we have to discuss networking related and security related projects, so today we are covering Python based cryptography model and some email verification also. Alright, so the maximum people who are using email, right, they are also using cryptography. Right, and for cryptography thing we need to design one networking section in Python, general programming, ratio programming and aspect programming also. So whenever we are going to send some data from this particular machine, we are going to receive some data from this particular machine, so that network section must be encrypted or secure by us, otherwise any third party or hacker like people will be able to crack this network zone. So what cryptography or what kind of cryptography we are going to discuss, we will be like discussing in the next 15 to 20 minutes. Fine. So let's start from a Python function and modular approach. Library modular approach, right? Here, because whenever we want to interact with some kind of internal or external library, we need to use some Python related internet framework. That means as of now we have this hardware and we have this particular model, and from here if we call our application level program on top of operating system, that is our Python. So if Python want to do some extra work or more work with respect to operating system, then we can have libraries where we are going to ask to our hardware to do or to perform any certain kind of task. So libraries we are using as of now will be something like this. So I think I have created one directory for you, that is DevOps, and here I'm creating one file, that is library.python, and because we are using Python version 3, so I'm making it very clear. Otherwise in Windows, Microsoft, you can use it like this, so it will be like very much simple or similar. Done. Now the general approach for using any library must be something like this. So whenever you are trying to hit any Python related programs, you need to use import keyword to import some operating system related or time related or system platform related libraries. So all of these, whatever I'm using, are libraries names, and these libraries are automatically built or itself built in Python language. So room ID is Rishabh. Room ID is like I think you can go through last video, the yesterday class, so you can have the room ID. I have written over there. It was something like #adhoc:/matrix.org. So you can just go through yesterday video, you can check. Okay, all right. So yes, so the libraries or the function we want to use in Python, we need to import actually. Yes, as Shivshoni is saying, it's yes, this is, I think it's hashtag in starting of the line, right? It's #matrix.org. Okay, after putting hashtag, it is making it in bigger way. All right, so make it hash before a. Done. So yes, so that means we are using any library in this general manner, but because this is not the standard way to use any library in Python, so let's say I want to check what are the features and how many features provided by Python in this particular scenario. So we are going to use dir, then sys. So dir is the function by which we can check the maximum things here. So these are the internal functions provided by dir module. Similarly time, because we have used time yesterday, so it is something like this. These are the functions we can use. Alright, but if I want to delete or unload any module, so there is the keyword. I'm deleting this, I'm deleting time, comma, sys. You can delete it like by using comma separated values. Alright, now the best way to import any library is that when you are importing some library by using Python, it is going to use your operating system resources actually. So let's say if I'm importing time library, it is going to load all the inbuilt function 1, 2 and so on, whatever we have just checked here, all the functions in your RAM. But let's say if we want to use only this function under this library, or only a slave function under this library, so we don't need to import the extra thing or other things. We only need to import the slave thing. So that means if I want to write that code where I want to let's say lib dot py, so rather than using complete name, that means this is not the right way at all. Never use this. Okay, method, always prefer this is the people how they are coding in some industry or companies. So from time I'm importing sleep comma c time, like we used this yesterday. So we want to use only two functions of complete time module. We are using this. So I'm making this comment here because if we are going to use the complete name, it is going to load all other packages whatever we don't need actually. So that means if you hit this, if you are using this, it is going to load everything. But if we need only two things, so the better way to load this particular library or any library is this. Now if I want to hit something, print hello, then I want to give some sleep, so it's sleep directly. We don't need to define the time function because we are directly loading this sleep function. Why? Because we have specific requirement to load it in from time model. So we are giving 1-2 second data, or maybe 0.001 second or 0.01 second. So whatever you are going to write here, it is going to be count in seconds. So I'm counting here for 3 seconds. So that means directly you can use. Now after this, the word, so it's hello and word. So that means if I'm going to run this library.py, it's hello and the word. I'll show you the memory mapping also, that when we are using this rather than this, it is going to use very much less resources, right? That means we don't need more amount of CPU and RAM to perform particular this thing, right? Now because this is the method or the way import is using your current library. Now very much important thing about import, general, it was the design model, that is how import is working. Right, so this means I'm taking one example before using this. Whenever we are launching any Python interpreter and we are using import keyword to import any particular library, right? So we have two things. The first one, we need to remember the library name first, and that library name is also designed in Python. That means that import keyword is looking for Python based or Python oriented library. So I'm showing you the place where all libraries are saved. But in Python, if you write code like this and you are going to import your file as well, right? For example, I'm using this, so I'm using python3 and I'm importing the file name. File name is library.py and I'm importing this file name. Whenever I hit enter, it is going to print the code, the output. So it is like hello, then time, then up. And what happened behind the scene? It is compiled. See, we also have this library, and when you talk about this, so there is a new directory. If you check underscore py cache, so suddenly when we hit enter, the directory py cache was created, and whatever we are going to use, it will be stored in this cache. That means import function always compile this particular code and use this. But from this location, if you are going to change your directory from this to somewhere else, it is actually not going to work until we don't have this library. See, so the module name library is not defined. So whenever you are going to have some file, you need to be on that location to import library, right? Okay, Chetan is asking something. How can we call function under another function? There is no problem in this particular statement. How can you call a function under function? Because when you create some function in Python, like we can create in this, and I want to do these things under a function, so I am defining one function, let's say ad hoc. Under this we are giving some indentation of the code. Alright, now we are using this go function, and we are using one more thing is like something. Okay, now you can call this function ad hoc here, and finally you can call the go. Alright, so when you hit enter, it will call the go will go in this line, and it will call ad hoc will be here. So if you use this thing, so ad hoc is invalid. Syntax is ADHOC without any parameter. right? Go is also the same, so we need to define in this way the function. Now see, okay, hello and word. So it's very simple. Otherwise you can have the multi-threading programming in Python to do the same thing. Otherwise we can discuss more about it. So now how import is working. Whenever we are going to make any library global, it is going to be stored by default under this location. So in Ubuntu or in Linux or in other Linux based operating system, we are storing our library under this location, and if you hit list something here, list in this particular scenario, so it is going to like show you all library name. For example, we have OS. Otherwise you know Linux in very much better way, so you can grab the library name as well. So we have sysconfig, we have sys, we have OS, so it's os.py. So all libraries are a simple Python file, and Python 3.5 store everything in this particular location, and Python 2.7 storing its library under this location. So if you hit again check particular this thing, so we have, so make sure that you have this all location under any Linux machine, right? Otherwise in Windows you can go and check under C drive what will be the library function. So a grep working is like, whenever you import something, it is going to store its code, execution code in your RAM, and under RAM we are going to have this library. Now because I was when I was working with this particular scenario, I want you to involve in programming right now, because import working is really important, but the project we are discussing for email verification or network monitoring, so I'm going to create one socket that will be live for all of you. So what I'm doing actually, because I'm here in my home, and in my home we have our separate internet connection. So the scenario we are going to discuss, this is one internet line for common people, and you people are sitting on your own place, right? And you are anyhow connected with this internet line, and I'm also here, I'm also connected with some internet line, right? Now because I am having one broadband connection also, so in my lab or my place we have this router where internet line is something like this. So that means the internet line is connected to my router. Whenever you choose any broadband connection, they always provide you some public IP. Now my point is, if you are going to send some data on this public router or something, I'm going to receive by using this packet forwarding feature from my public IP to my laptop. So the level of socket programming we are going to have, you are the people you are going to write some code where you are going to send data from your system, and it is going to receive in my laptop having internet connection. So I mean, whatever I am discussing, is it like really helpful for you? I mean, are you able to understand the same thing, or it's like going beyond your head, the right now scenario? In current scenario, are you getting something about this diagram specifically? Getting, Chetan is understand, getting, and other people, no idea, no response. That means if you're not getting, then please ask as well. Alright, I mean, maximum people are not there, or there. Resam is also saying we are getting. That's cool. I mean, at least 2-3 people like understanding. Great. So now the magic of networking is like, because you are not calculating my point. My point is really different. These are the domains of you people. You have your own internet connection, and ad hoc networks, we have this public internet connection here, but my laptop or my IP address is really private. If you are going to send some data here, I need to apply here some rules. Whenever you people are going to send some data on this particular router, it must be redirected by my router to my laptop, right? So because we are translating our public IP and we are connecting from public IP to private IP, so this particular kind of thing is known as port forwarding generally, or sometimes it is RNAT, reverse network address translation. So for this, you people and I also have to connect the same thing. But before socket programming, I wanna show you that if I'm going to have some web page in my system or some data in my system, how you people are going to connect to my laptop, right? So let me do one thing, because I'm having as of now the IP address of my system is like, it's 10.129, right? The public IP, the private IP we have, and the external public IP we are having, it's like, okay, socket program, but socket program conversion will be typical from public to private. And if I'm checking for what is my IP address on public level, so my public IP address is this, right? And when you connect on this particular public IP address, it is going to redirect on my platform here. So my public IP is is like 103 or 10 whatever. So as this is my public point, so you are going to connect here and it will redirect to my system. So for this particular role I need to open my router portal. So my router address is 50 10.50. I'm using here username admin and password red hat, maybe fine. So this is my router where I'm going to assign some rule regarding forwarding IP. So I'm adding one rule where your source port will be 8088 and you are redirecting into internal port 80 and the internal IP address is like 129. Fine. So what we are doing, actually we are making one rule in our public router where you people will connect on public IP on port number 8088 and it is going to redirect the complete traffic of you people into my laptop on 80 port. So rather we have a discussion under IP and port addressing, but still I'm just calculating things by showing you some this kind of example. So I'm saving this firewall rule, and because you know my IP address is this, and I think my 80 port is also running. So let me do one thing. I'm going to design one web page. This index.html, and here we are going to have 10.129, a very simple and common page. Okay, now what you can do, you people open your web browser generally and copy this IP address or type this IP address like this, and the port number you need to type is by colon 8088. When you hit enter, it is going to show you my web page, right? So try the same thing at your own laptop or PC, whatever you have. You need to type this IP address colon 8088. It is going to show you my page. Please make sure if you are able to do the same thing. How it is happening, we need to create this monitoring system by Python programming. So first thing is I need to show you, I need to feel you also. Even we have also some good pages like input.html, so you can go and give the page like /input.html. It is going to show you some new pages as well. So if you want to change the page, otherwise by default is index.html, so type this and you will get this. Please answer me by typing that you are able to access the same link from your place. Is it happening? Yes, Anand saying yes. Okay, that means if you are getting my point, and this is working without limitation, because you are on some different network, I am in some different network, and you are going to send some data. You can see if I'll type here something awesome movie, because it's a review program actually. It is going to give me 0.5 positive, 0 negative. It's good, right? And if I'm going to write here awesome, but it must be something. If you type something and go for review, I mean, is it accessible from your place also, this URL? I mean, give me that answer also. When you type on that web page, right, and this, when you hit enter after writing, is it like accessible from your place also, or only the front page? It is accessible. Yes sir means, I mean, what I should, only front page. That's great, right? Only front page, good, because the URL we are like changing in this particular mod. So we need to work on it, because if only front page is working, then there is reason. Otherwise what I can do, I can directly call this IP address /CGI bin with colon 8088. Maybe, let me check. No, only front page, great. So if I'm doing this, going back, awesome, because I'm using, I think, cache. Now refresh your browser and try one more time. Working. Result is saying it's working. I mean, refresh your browser 2-3 times and now make it very much. So I'm using this. Let's say the review point is like fantastic. So yes, I have this one. Access. Okay, great. So if you're getting me, what I am trying to do for you people, we are going to design a lab here, a lab where you can access Python or socket or any other thing also, right? So if I want to give you the access of Python programming language as well, let me do this for you, because if you want to access the Python thing, so let me make one more change. I want to modify my let's say code. You will be falling down under 4200 port number, and if I'll check my username and password, so the code is the username, I guess. Just wait for a minute. I mean, don't. Fine. Code is the username, so I'm using code. Okay. Now the password must be something like 123. So one more thing you need to cross check. 123. 123. Okay. One more thing you can check at your level, your own level. You can have this, and after this hit enter, maybe with HTTPS. Okay, and if HTTPS, go to advanced, proceed with unsafe thing, log in here with code, and password is 123. Right, try this. Are you able to access my terminal as well? Because for lab creation for Python thing, this is one of the part of our project. So now you can like have this https :/ with the same IP address. You will be asking for username and password. Username is code and password is 123. Make sure you are able to access my terminal. It's not working from your end, Rishabh is saying. So try one more time with HTTPS. Shivam says working, so Rishabh, you try one more time. Alright. One confirmation I really want. One more people can do the same thing. Password is 123. It's not Red Hat. Username is code and password is 123. Right? Let me write it for you. It's code is the username, 123 is the password. Done. That means it's working, right? So now we will build our own email verification and network monitoring tool that is going to work around the globe. I mean, from your system to my system. So let me write all the prerequisite what you are going to learn by own. First thing you need to understand to design this model: what is NAT, what is RNAT, what is PAT. The second thing, really good understanding of IP address, and the next thing is like port redirection, and port forwarding. Right? So NAT, RNAT, this, all these things are port redirection and port forwarding. So all these things will be needing by us. So please make sure you have good, really amazing understanding and good amount of like practical scenario use cases. You need to go through all these things. The final thing is like broadcasting, with some good example in IP address scheme, especially in IP4. So if you have this, definitely I'm saying it 100%. Tomorrow we will have complete socket programming model. We'll design and we'll code together. I mean, you need to have your own laptop to contribute this thing, and tomorrow we'll commit one code on GitHub. But by having these topic with understanding power, right? So if you have any question regarding those topics, please feel free to ask, because the model I have created for project thing in the upper section of the PDF, the part, We'll discuss those points, but we need to have this thing as a requirement, right? So you need to have all these things with crystal clear concept. So tomorrow same time we are having session, the exact same time. IRC, let me close that recording first.